All right, we got to go to Bull. This is what's driving my account mostly today to all-time new highs. This is crazy. I mean, we can talk about the warrants a little bit if you want. The Godfather knows that was all you focusing on the warrants. But for the last week or so, I've been focused on the common shares, trying to find where the turnaround is. And I got to say, I think we pretty much nailed it. On Friday afternoon, I gave an alert out at $14, and I'm like, the bottom's in, let's go. This is epic. I mean, this thing can squeeze to that 20 DMA pretty quickly, $21. Right here, there's a very key resistance at 1669. You can see that was the high of the day on April 11th, and it actually got resisted right there at 1670 again on one of these days here on May 5th. So key inflection point at 1670. Very high volume today. It went over it, back under it, playing with it. Now it's above it right this second. To me, this feels like this is legitimate. I feel like this is enough here. This 1670 break, even though it's going back above it, below it, above it, I think this is enough. Rhett and the Godfather knows, you can both comment on this one here from a technical perspective. But I think there's a very high chance that we're going to see a big move to $21. What do you guys think? Let's start with the Rhett on this one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking at the chart, I think we definitely could see $21. We're going to have a little bit of resistance coming up around, I think it was like around 1850, right around there. So if we definitely get a break above that, we could see 21.45, right around that area.
And Godfather knows, I know you look at positioning a lot, and you've been looking at the shares outstanding and some other things when you consider price action. What do you think? Do you think this is the bottom? We're going to get the big breakout, or is it going to be sold off here?
Yeah, so last weekend I spent a bunch of time going through the filings again and trying to figure, because we're trying to figure out why is this thing down every single day. And they just completed the deal. And normally there are IPO lockups on these things, but a SPAC has different rules. If you go through it and you look at the existing shares outstanding that were in the SPACs, like 5.8 million, but then you look at the vended shares and what was actually released on consummation of the transaction. And this is where the stock is all coming from. If you total everything up, it was like 125 million shares. So I went through and I looked at the average volume per day and the number of days it's traded since, and I took an eyeball to say, okay, well, how much of this is probably coming from the insiders and how much of this is just day-to-day trade back and forth? And I came to the conclusion that based on the cadence of selling that we'd seen, we probably had one more week left of selling. And that would end this week. So here we are pacing into the middle of the week, and there seems to be less and less pressure on the stock. So I think it's part of that. I think it's really that. A lot of that stuff is very low cost base. So they're pretty price agnostic, and I think they've just been pounding the stock. But as that dries up, the stock has a chance to respond here. And I have some other thoughts on the fundamental basis that I did to complement your guys' work on the technicals, but I'll save that for our Discord. All those common spreadsheets are in the due diligence folder.
Is there, though, a chance of selling pressure coming back next week when warrants become exercisable? Is that a concern?
For sure. I see a lot of posts in the Discord about folks indicating that whatever brokers they use, there's no borrower available. There's options listed on this thing now, so there are ways to get hedged. But look, I used to run a risk arbitrage desk. I can tell you that these guys, I don't like to leg into the transactions, certainly at size. They'll do it for minimal size, but you want to be secure. We're getting close, right? May 12th is right around the corner. So Monday. Starting next week. Yeah. All right. So starting next week, I don't know what to say about those borrow numbers. They seem to be all over the map. One day there's no borrow and it's like 300 CTB, and the next day there is. In any event, yes, there will be natural pressure to hedge. And to the extent that there's an arbitrage there, it will get arbed out because it's on everyone's radar screen.
Yeah, I think an ideal situation for me would be if we can hit that target before Monday. So it's Wednesday, we got another 2.5 days. If we can get to like 20 or the 19s before Monday, I might just be all out. I don't know how you feel about it. I think I might be all out. And looking at the chart, there is definitely the possibility that it could break 20 and make a move to 25. But to me, that's the ideal scenario. Get to 2021 by Friday afternoon. Any thoughts on that plan?
I think you're at those levels, you're starting to challenge fundamental value. So I would concur.